then the Shenship, Rajama Yandaba, Zobe Sanje Riba, Shazun Demba, Devre Sheba, Jiden Jeba, Kalo Jeva, Lana Meba, Lada Menanje, Sanje Jimden, the Benjo, Saja Tuba, Chazen Loju, Jazu Shio, Demba Jimden, the Shenship, Yandaba, Zobe Sanje Riba, Shazun. Devre Sheba, Jiden Jeba, Jibun, Dura, Lana Meba, Lada Menanje, Sanje Jimden, the Benjo, Saja Tuba. Chazen Loju, Jazu Shio, Demba Jimden. Jejaba Dajuma Yanda Banzobe Sanjeriba. Shazun Deba Devre Sheba Jiden Jemba Jibun Dura Kambo. Lana Meba, Lada Menanje, Demba Sanje Jimden. Benjawa Shajan Tuba, La Chazen Loju, Jazu Shio. Kanze Ganyin Zowa Jadamazea Sajen de la Command. Manen Jiden de la Joja Zowa Dese Keba Jama Chazen. Namda Gunga Jodo Suzawa Yishi Jasu Sejen. Chaban Jiden Sumna La Meba Gombo Chonye Jama Chazen. Chenjo Demba Chimen Daveshi Sendo Java Jama Chazen. Duje Jana Seba Sumaje Nyame Chenjen Jama Chazen. Gombo Tuje Demba Tamje Jembe Demba Sonam Yuden Jasu. The Shenjala Chazen Lo Taben de Jaja. Given a song that Jujin, Jidu to them showed. Shinjujo Lacha, General Trene Travel, Lavatana Rabdu Ne, Shingatamba Yuden, Gidula Sha, General Dibachi and Measures. Give up your zone so much, Rangas and Dayosu. Tene Sanje Demba Yin, Karma Rabi Mami, Jumazeva, Shubrata, Melamata, Jendabu, Dijano, the Tarata, Solomon Dia, Tamje Seva. Kobanto ne Jinjin Radu, the Gada Nada, Chivel Sibeson and Joan Jova Rejo.
To the teacher, the blessed one, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct,
Sugata,
knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the teacher, the blessed one, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the teacher, the blessed one, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the blessed one, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When a supreme among humans you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, to you I prostrate. With supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. You are immaculate, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the teacher having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the one gone to thusness I prostrate. The purity which makes one free from attachment, the virtue which frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to that Dharma which pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated, who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the sublime community intending virtue I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only imperfect virtuous actions, Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, mirage, a flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the flow of faults, and be delivered from the ocean of suffering, of aging, sickness, and
Sanje Shonan, Soje Shonan, La, Chanchu Pablo, Dane Jasu, Dagin Jiso Jebe, Sonam Jian, Rola Pinji, Sanje Du, Sanje Shonan, Soje Shonan, La, Chanchu Pablo, Dane Jasu, Dagin Jiso Jebe, Sonam Jian, Rola Pinji, Sanje Du, Sanje Shonan, Soje Shonan, La, Chanchu Pablo, Dane Jasu, Dagin Jiso Jebe, Sonam Jian, Rola Pinji, Sanje Du, Sanje Shonan, Soje Shonan, La, Chanchu Pablo, Dane Jasu, Dagin Jiso Jebe, Sonam Jian, Rola Pinji, Sanje Du,
I go for refuge in telling enlightenment to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving the other perfections, may I quickly attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge in telling enlightenment to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other perfections, may I quickly attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other perfections, may I quickly attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
Getting the Lagunan and Juan Mejiwan be a Kajipola government, Yamanda Vajiban. Get the women don't know Juan Mejiwan. Pabe the Bajivan over Jello, Pabe the Bajivan, get the Lagunan and Juan Mejipola government, Yamanda Vajiban. Pamba Meba, Tomba, Shava Meba, Tomba, Gawamba, Jemba, Tin and Yamanda Vaji. The Yamanda Magazine, got the Chiwan Meba, you over you. Getting Yamanda and Yamanda, the Juju, the Jemma, Bagaya, come on. Kedenya de wona jadanya de makajete de bayu. Kedenya de wona chada ro de kalanya de tala mume yu. Kedenya de wona jadanya de makajete de mume yu. Wa ta de wona de no jeje kanya ba de men jeje men yamen de yu. Jowa ta de je wona ba de me ga zo de je yamen de mume me bari. Kedenya de wona de mume ni de wona me ta wa je de. Kedenya de wona de mume ni de yamen de de Chidanya one of the women near the Yanga, the much of the women. Chidanya one of the women near the teenager, not the women of member, Yanga, over metal, what the tuna did. Kedenya one of women over member, the women over member, Kajikan, Chimden, the human meditation. Meditation, you get the new message, the chimdation, what you know, the human meditation, the meditation, you get the new message. Koanya Mendeva Lecheva Jozo, Yamendeva Koana Cheva Jozo. Yamendeta Kanya Matena Kova Kanya, the Tiny Cheva Jozo, the Shindo Tower, human. Kadebenja Dazo Dala Sovatava, the Yamenta, the Cheta, the Mujata. Movatum Jeton Balataya Jeta, Tata Tamij, Tata Tamij. Teenage Taba Jim, Tata Metanica, Jenica, Beba, Chishi. Movatum Jenish, Javan, Jishiva, the Sanjay. So long, Chunga, but then no one younger than the Bottom Session, the Reduction, Chunga, Kangia towards the Yeraso, the Tawa, the Jacob, the turns there, Quadamantella, shots. So, I think we are on the merit of negations. Merit of negations. So what we have, we already discussed on the true truth, convention, the true ultimate truth, and then so negating arising from oneself, negating arising from others, negating arising from both, negating arising from no cause. So this is the merit of negations. Merit of negations. So the merit of refuting the arising from others, a system that, as explained above, propounds the absence of the real entity in a form of intrinsic existence, has the merit of not falling into extreme of the eternalism and the nihilism, because it affirms the dependent originations, that is the free from eternalism and the nihilism. So so then demonstrate this from the root text: because the sprout is no other than the seed, there is no extinction of the seed at the time of the sprout, and because the sprout and the seed are not identical, it cannot be said that seed exists when the sprout is there. So now I think here this so this topic is very kind of it's not easy one. So nothing born from itself, born from others, and the both and the without cause. So born from by itself, from itself, it is most of the like a Sotanic school, the mind-only school, medieval autonomous school, in the Prasangik school. They all agree that nothing really born by itself, right? So now the born from others. So except the Prasangik school, all the school taught thinks that yes, the cause and the effect are other. So effect is other from the cause is other from the effect. So the born from other is relatively exist. So then the first Prasangika school kind of thinks that Prasangika school says that, and how about mundanes? Do mundane ordinary people or mundanes, do they accept born from other or not? The way they say and the way they think, when the mother gave birth, she's, the further, so this child is born from, me. I gave this birth. Or the father who planted the seed for the son. So pointing at the son, this is my son's, is born from me. When the ordinary people, when they plant the seed of the tree in the soil, from that seed, when there's a tree from that seed, this person will point to the tree. This I plant. So it seems that the mundanes, the perspective, they don't really, perceive the cause and effects as a two different things. So, like you can say, when you make the yogurt. So last night you, editing something in the milk. You boil the egg, milk, and then let it cool down for a while, and then add something, and then you ferment it in the morning. So become the yogurt, and you yogurt says, I fermented this, right? I make this. So also, when you cutting the vegetables and preparing all the, all this process for the food. Once the food on the plate, this is I cook it. I cook this. They don't say I cook that. I did that and this happened, right? So there is a mundanely, they don't really see the cause and effect as a two different thing. So the Prasangika school says this is how the mundane things they don't really see the cause and effect is different. Now the minority school, Siddhantika school, and they are philosophically, and they're coming to, propound their cause and effect is different. So that is pretty much, it against the conventional, it against the mundane, ordinary way of perceiving. And then this is what Prasangika said. This says you have against the mundanes, the conventional. And then another the problem is when you see the cause and effect as a two different thing. So the difference, cause and effect, two different things. That this concept of the differential of the cause and effect, it's also opens the kind of the misinterpretations. So if the cause and the effect is the different, past and the present is the different, yesterday and today is the different. So because of these two, the different, so they think since the cause and the effect are different, so, present and the past is different. So the present also comes from the past. So what do you really, how do you really interpret that? The present and the past as the two different things, and the present comes from the past. So it's very natural that people may think, oh, present was once in the past, right? The present was once in the past. Now it, transpose or transfer. Mm-hmm. This very present is transfer from the past. So anything that was in the past, now in the present. So this is also kind of, the eternalisms, because you seize the entity, the things that, it already pre-exists within the past. Now, once again, it's manifest in the present time. So it's very natural that people think, oh, things are permanent. Things that just change the time. The nature of the things do not really change. So the nature of the things there's some kind of eternalism, eternal qualities, right? So the very present things is also going to, in the futures, that is a different from the present. So almost like so you are here in this house, now you move to another house. This very person is going to move into another house, and he can also come back. Maybe that's how some of the scientists think they try and travel. They can go back to the past, or the future can come to the present. Present can go to the past. So because it sees the times 3 times are the differently exist, that they're they're different, mutually different. So the Prasangika school says 3 times are not different. Cause and effect is not different. cause is no different from the effect. Effect is no different from the cause. And again, when you think about the different, so like a cow and a horse are different, rice and barley are different. So in this way, you don't really think that the tomato seed and the tomatoes are the different. Tomato seed and the tomatoes are not different like a cow and a horse, barley and the rice. So cause and effects are not different. So, and also cause, anything that is a cause never really transfer to the state of the effect. Effect that is never really transferred from the cause. So there's nothing goes from the past to the present that comes from the past, because the disintegration of the past, that manifests as the present. That's whatever the manifests in the present, was not in the past. The past disintegrate, therefore the present manifest. So from this, what we understand is the impermanence, and continuations. Like yourself before the class started, and yourself in the class, two person. So if you are different from the person who's before we started the classes, one who's driving, right? So so then this very person and the person the who is going to join the class are two different persons. But no mundane really see these two persons as a different, right? So going to join the class and one who is already in the class are not two different things. So now the question is this. So anything in the present time, in the present time, exact person was in the past or not. So the exact person means in the present time, present person means in the present time. In the present time cannot, move to the past. Present cannot move to the past. Therefore, present person is, not going to move or, do not kind of, do not move or just transfer to the past, nor it is coming from the past. So when the process of the cause has ceased, the effect manifests. Process of the cause is done or exhaust, the effect manifests. That effect is the proof of, effect is the proof of continuum of the cause, which has ceased to exist. So I think the best example in the Saturday and Sunday. The Saturday is not transferred to the Sunday. Sunday is not transferred from the Sunday, but end of the Saturday is the beginning of the Sunday. End of the Saturday is beginning of the Sunday. So from this saying, Saturday is impermanent, impermanent. So impermanence, therefore, Saturday ceases to exist when the Sunday manifests. So the manifestation of the Sunday is the proof of continuum of the Saturday. When Saturday ceases, Saturday is not dissipate, so not discontinued. I think this, for me, it's very significant to me, because many of the religiously thinking that who believes in the many rebirths, and they also have kind of idea, the thought of eternalisms, or eternal quality in the self, because they're continuously reborn. One thing is that it's constant happening. So the happening is the repeating or constantly happening one thing again and again, or one thing sees and another manifests. That things and manifest, right? So what is the continuum mean to you, right? If continuum is the repeating, then repeating means something is not really changing at all. Something is not in impermanence. Right? Something is not impermanent. So because that thing is repeating. So the believing in the many lives is also not repeating the life. Many, continuously born in the samsara is not repeating. So if there is the repeating, then you say, all the self of the person is Atma as a permanent. So if the self of a person is, because it's repeating again and again, it never changes. So therefore it is permanent, it's eternal. So the self, the person is, by nature it is eternal. So something that never changes. And you're believing this self could, change to the Bhagavan, to liberations, to attain something. So all these millions and millions of years you're born, you have never changed. Now you want to change to the Bhagavan, to the enlightened being. That is also logically is not really not fit in the reasoning. So if everything is changing intrinsically, in disintegrating, everything is changing, so nothing repeating. So still there's a continuum, still there's a continuum impermanence, still there's the law of the cause and effect, because everything is a continuum, but we don't say the rice is the continuum of the barley, tomato is the continuum of onion. So the tomato having tomato is not a proof of continuum of the onion or the orange or the rice. The tomato is the proof of a continuum of the tomato seed, right? So there's a continuum, but things that follow continuing, following the rules of the law of the cause and effect. So this is why in the Sutra Buddha says, out of ignorance there is karma. That the karma is following the ignorance, but karma and ignorance not identical. Karma is no different from the ignorance. Is not identical, because the karma manifests as a result of continually the misconception, right? As a result of misconceiving action that manifests. the manifesto of the action is the result of the karma. So not identical, they are not different. So I think that really pretty much prevents the many of the misinterpretations, because some people think that, like a Samkhya school, that every effect is invisibly located or existing in their cause. On some Samkhya who believes in the creator, this effect of the sprout, the barley sprout, is not only exists within the barley seed, it exists before the barley seed. So which means the conventionally, ordinarily, origin of the barley sprout is the barley seed. But beyond that, what is the origin of this barley sprout? And then this is the Bhagavan, or the creators. Mm-hmm. So it seems like the creator is like Amazon's storage room. So this the barley sprout, barley seed is like a carrier who delivers to you, right? So this whole kind of misinterpretations could be seized when you say the barley sprout is no different from the barley seed, and barley sprout is not repeating of barley seed, right? It's not repeated of the barley seed. So barley sprout happened because of the barley seed has ceased to exist. It is the barley sprout always follow the barley seed, not the rice seed. There is law in cause and effect. There is the continuum, and it is the impermanent. So the only impermanent has the function of the continuum, and law in cause and effect. So permanent has no quality of continuum. There's no function of the law in cause and effect. Like a space, space in hell realm, space in human realm, space in the God realms, there's no different. There's no continuum, there's no repeating. So there is no functions, because this space is not changing by cause and condition. Yeah, like a space in your body, hollow, or a space in the sky. So they do not change by cause and condition. So now this was saying the merit of the refuting arising from others. So once again read. The system that explains above propounds the absence of real entity in the form of intrinsic existence has the merit of not falling into extreme eternalism and nihilisms, because it affirms dependent originations. Because this, the negating the born from other is, it brings you to understand, to dependent originations, dependent rising. So it prevents two extreme, eternalism and the nihilisms. So eternalism means, like sprouts pre-exist within the cause. Sprout exists before the seeds. So these are the eternalisms. And nihilism means, if the seed is ceased to exist, so the seed exists become non-existing, is a nihilism, right? When the seed is ceased to exist through the disintegrating, and once it ceases to exist, it is not a discontinuation, it is not a dissipation of the seed. So because when the seed has ceased, sprout manifest. The manifestation of the sprout is the proof of the continuation of the seed.
We just don't say it's a seed. It's a continuation, but we do not say it's a seed. So
it's not a seed. It's not a seed. It's a continuation of the seed.
So if nihilism were true, then the result of the seed would not exist either.
Yeah. If nihilism is true, then you can say this is the rice sprout is the continuity of the barley seed that ceased to exist. I plant the barley seed, and then it disappears, dissipated in the soil. Now I have the rice sprout. This is the continuum of that. That is nihilism, because this seed that you planted in the soil, and you think now it's no longer existing, it becomes non-existing. So I'm going to call this rice sprout as continuum of that. Right. So this is like rice sprout being continuum of the barley seed. Tomato is the continuum of the onion. Right. So it's just people who even sometimes people don't believe, they don't have much faith in previous life and next life, but still sometimes they think maybe I'm the result of my previous life. Right. So you think the previous life and this life is like a two different person. So having died with some other person as a result of you born. So you don't follow the cause and effect or karma that committed by the previous life, because the previous life yourself is two different persons.
It's oftentimes confusing because nihilism, when it's talked about, I think mundanely, it's a very popular term. I think I've said this before. Nihilism is just it's almost associated with negation. Mundanely, because it's like, oh well, that's not real. That's just a concept, and yada yada. And then it just kind of leaves it. Like frequently, it's said as that, but then it's like, oh well, nothing matters. Nothing's real. It's a very different.
I think there's a profound nihilism and a very shallow nihilism.
Yeah.
We also, oh, I broke that thing, so it's okay. I'll just substitute for another things. So you think whatever the broken, that has become discontinued.
Right.
And I can consider, I can impose this thing is the continuum of that thing. So it's something discontinued, something is discontinued or dissipated or become non-existing. How can this this can be continuum of things that are already discontinued.
Another example that I heard one time was that nihilism is negated because there even is such a concept that is applied that relatively there is concepts that exist, and that if nihilism were true, then the concepts would not be possible as well. I don't know if that makes sense. But.
Like for example, one of the very obvious in the Charvaka school, nihilism means, so their nihilism is saying there is no next life, because there is no one going to next life after the death. So when they say there is no one going to next life after the death, pointing in the ashes. So this person has died and turned into these ashes. From this, there's nothing going to the next life. So this is the nihilism.
Very literal.
Literal nihilism. So, and then also it kind of is nihilism because when you say, when you think that my previous life right? The previous life, and this I am different from the previous life. Just having thought of that, the previous life is another person, this life is another person, and then you still think, express, I'm the continuum of the previous life. So there is already the two possible of, you can also go eternalism and nihilism both. So you can go eternalism, that's I was once there. So that eternalism. So also you can go nihilisms, that person has discontinued, right? That person died, so now it's almost like almost like there's the person, the wealthy person who has died, and you have no relation to that person, and suddenly the bank says, "Oh, we can give all his money to you." So it's like the person is different, and you are the different, and then whatever he did, good things, and they coming back to me. I am the result of this previous life's karma. So that is also nihilism. It's a part of nihilism because you things. It's just almost like continuity is just if you think, if you feel like today you feel I'm continuing, and then it's okay, it's continue, and tomorrow it's like, oh, we are different, I'm not continuing. So it's just kind of there's a kind of very absurdly thinking, yes, sometimes continue, sometimes not continue. Some continuing because you want because you see there is something special in you, or something different, something different than others. So then you think, oh, this my previous life done something, right? And at the same time, the deep in your mind, and you think that the previous life and this life are two different persons. That's still, it's a nihilism. So if you see that in every, like every day, in every hour, you see yourself, the person who is doing something, and then once who is done, you again think, oh, the one who is doing no different from me. I am not repeating of that person. I'm not repeated of that person. And, I'm the manifest of the result, continuum of that person. So when you're cooking, and then when you finish cooking, when you start eating, this is the person who is cooking, right? It is not transfer. It is not transposed to you, and you are not there. This person who is eating is not there at the time, right? Not there at the time. But this person is, once his activities is done, this manifest. So every result that you are happy or not happy, excited, whatever. So you see, oh, this person has done this things. I've done this, and therefore I'm this. I'm happy. So I'm doing this, and I will be, and the next day or next month or next year. So you see, then there's only you see the impermanence. This keep changing. There's a constant changing. And then every change is, every change that happened is result of what has been done in the previous time, previous time. So which means, in Nagarjuna says there is no fifth conditions. So which means there is the what do you call it? the substantial cause, for example, yesterday myself and today myself. Yesterday myself is the substantial cause of me, and yesterday myself with, how's that? A substantial cause, and then, immediately preceding conditions, and it is the ruling conditions, and now the objective condition probably not. Objective conditions not. So you're not objective conditions, right? So the conditions, that the things are just happening due to previous cause and the conditions. There is no, the fifth condition, or there's no other conditions like the creator or the God or the Bhagavan, who is, making a decision to what, uh, making a decision for your futures. The Bhagavan is not responsible, third person is not responsible for your changes. Your change is only done by yourself in the past time. So I think that's why you are your masters. You are your, you are your enemy. You are your masters. So the born from others. The other is, I think among the four chronology, four the, born from oneself and others, and both and without cause. I think most significant point is negating or refuting the born from others. Right. So by itself is not that difficult to understand. And both is not difficult to understand. Without cause also, it's not that difficult. So the born from others. So the root text, because the sprout is no other than the seed, so there is no extinction of the seed at the time of the sprout, and because the sprout and the seed are not identical, it cannot be said that seed exists when the sprout is there. So therefore, no different, because if you're different, you can exist simultaneously, like a cow and a horse, table and chair are different. They can physically existing in the same simultaneously or same time. If the sprout were intrinsically other than the seed and the sprout could not be a cause and its effect. Intrinsically different, then they cannot be a cause and effect. In that event, the seed's continuum would certainly cease once the sprout exists. So because of the seed and sprout is no different, not two different things, therefore, sprout would be, in that continuum, seed's continuum would certainly cease once the sprout exists. Seed and the sprout would totally unrelated. If they are different, totally unrelated. And so even if the sprout were present, this would not in any way preserve the lineage of the seed. So there's no, if the seed and sprout are different, and so sprout would not be a continuum or lineage of the seed. The barley sprout is the lineages of the barley seed. Tomato is the lineages of tomato seed. To illustrate the presence of a cow, the presence of a cow-like beast in no way ensure the cessation of cow's lineage up to death. Likewise, the presence of the ordinary being in no way ensure the Aryas do not serve the continuum of their own cyclic existence. So the beast, right? The cow-like beast. So you cannot say there's the continuum. When you have, for example, when the cow is died, and you cannot say, "Oh, it's okay. I will have a cows like a beast." That is the continuum of the cow that is died. So the beast is not the continuum of the cow. So, and also I said, the barley sprout is not continue with the rice seed. So when the Arya beings, like when the Shariputras is the Arahat, he is free from cyclic existence. The cyclic existing of the Shariputra is ended when you attain the Arhat. So right. So which you cannot say, Shariput, the cyclic existing is not ended because someone else in samsara. The Shariputra has ended the cyclic existing is his continuum cyclic existence, not your cyclic existence. Right. Shariputra once cycling in the samsara because he's following the continuum to his own cyclic existence, his own karma. So when he freed from cyclic existence, he ended his own continuum of the cyclic existence, not yours. So the present ordinary beings in no way ensure the Arya do not serve the continuum of their own cyclic existence. Because there is no contradictions for the seed and sprout to be cause and effect, even when the sprout is not intrinsically other than the seed. So there's no contradiction, seed and sprout as a cause and effect. So for the middle autonomous school, the minority school, they think if there is no other, there's no otherness between the cause and effect, and then how can you say one is cause, one is effect? Right. So if there is no otherness of the yesterday and today, and how can you say yesterday was Saturday, today is Sunday? So the yesterday was Saturday, today is Sunday, not Saturday, therefore they are different. So this is what the minority school thinks. So there's no contradiction, seed and sprout to be cause and effect, even when the sprout is not intrinsically other than the seed. There is no extinction of the lineage of the seed at the time of the sprout. There is no extinction of the seed at the time of the sprout. When the sprout manifests, it is the evident of not distinctions of the seed. In this way, one avoids the extreme of nihilisms. It has no numerous occasions. There's no numerous. Has been explained that the seed comes to cease. Yeah, seed comes to cease at the time of the sprout. So something that ceased does not mean it has stopped discontinuing, right? The ceased, died, broke, disintegrate is the not the kind of not the same meaning of discontinuing or non-existing, becoming non-existence. So therefore, the death is not the end of the person. Seed comes to and ceases at the same sprouts. So meaning of the seed, explain that seed comes to cease at the time of the sprout, and the meaning of the seed extinctions has been explained in the commentary as the termination of its continuity. So I think in this commentary, the English commentaries, probably there's no need to explain that because in the Tibetan languages, the root text read like there's a root text that because the sprout is no other than the seed, there is no in the Tibetan says there's no there's no cessation of seed at the time of the sprout. So it here properly translate in the meaning, no extinction of the seed at the time of the sprout, right? So in the Tibetan, this is no cessation of the seed at the time, because when they translate from in the Sanskrit, the disintegrations, negations, the word is very similar. So Lama Tsongkapha was trying to explain that. So in the line that says the cessation of the seed at the time of the sprout, but which means no extinction of the time of the seed of the sprout.
So the wording is trying to clearly say that the seed, the causes and conditions for that seed has ended. However, it has not stopped existing or is not but that does not mean that it's non-existent.
Yeah, it's you can say it's ended, it died, it ceased to exist, or it disintegrated.
Mm-hmm.
But so whatever you say, the death is not the end of the existing,
mm-hmm.
and the disintegration is not the end of the existence.
Mm-hmm.
So disintegration is the only reason that allows the manifestation of the outcome of that. So when something is disintegrated, something has already manifested. So if from the disintegration, if you think it is the ended, and how do you think from the manifestations of the result? Results say yes, it is continuing, but from the end it says you think it is ended. So it cannot be both, right? When someone says, "Oh, that person has died," now someone has experienced. He was just moving around that house like ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
If someone said that, and then this person has died, if you interpreted that he become non-existence,
mm-hmm.
and how can you interpret that this person is still living or moving around his house, mm-hmm. right? So the moving around his house is proving he has not ended. Mm-hmm. So death means not end because it is moving, right? When the glass breaks, not the end. So if you...
It seems we're talking in some way about energy, that there is some continuity in the energy. It doesn't just disappear. The energy kind of changes form, but it's got a kind of momentum, a kind of movement. And though that energy is not the same form as it was, there's a capacity for the energy to continue in some manner.
Yeah. So when a human being died and cremated, so what continues? Is it physically continuing, or on what level is continuing? So probably you can say the energy, from the energy level, it continues. But when you, like tomatoes, the barleys, the onion, the orange, mangoes, this not energy level is continuing. The physical level is continuing. So the physical, there's a continuing. At the same time, it says, whatever you have planted, that has to be ceased to exist, is ceased within the soil. As a result of the seed that is ceased in the soil, manifest the sprout. It's a physical level. It's all physical level, material level. So when the barley seed put in the soil, and and the time passes, and then the seed cease to exist, and then the result of that, the barley sprout is manifest. So the manifestation of the barley sprout is proving the seed that you plant has not dissipated, not discontinued, not a non-existent. Right? It keeps saying it's not a non-existence. And if you look from the past time, the seed that you planted, from there you can say, oh, that seed was ceased to exist. That seed was disintegrated. So now you have to look from the both. The sprout that manifests says it is not discontinued. Not discontinued. It is a continuum. And the seed has disintegrated, is, it is not dissipated. So now what you understand is impermanent and continuing. Right? So you understand impermanent and continuing. So at the same level in human being, human being right now, this human being is talking, not just because of the blood, not just because of the blood, not just because of the lips. So the energy level is, controlling the element level. My energy is controlling the element. The elements kind of, makes the sound, makes the eye sense power to see, the air sense power to listen from the energy. So when this person is dying and the element dissolve back to the elements and energy back to the energies, become the settled energies, and the most settled energies is inseparable with the consciousness. So that is the seed, and as a result, when this, apart from this body, is the death. The energies apart from the body is the death. So as a result of the death, so there is the continuum of either karma or the rebirth. So there's a continuum. So for the next life, birth, rebirth says the one who has died is not discontinued, it is continuing. When from that previous person's, and so where he died, it's proving it is impermanent. So the impermanent has the continuing. So which means there is continue does not mean one thing is repeating. Continue does not mean something comes from the past to the present. Present is repeating from the past. So yeah, when you start to thinking, oh, is the continuum means anything that is the present once it was in the past is the is now is like born from others. So if one entity is keep repeating and born by itself, so the by itself is nothing has born. Uh, from others, nothing has born. So anything could be born relatively, dependently. So, like in the material, this the seed, the sprout. So these do not have, how to say. So they don't have any karma to act out of ignorance. They do not commit any karma. So, but whatever that you have fertilized at the seed, it also manifests in the result of the sprout. And the flowers may be better, and the fruits may have the more sweet, So if you do not put any fertilizer in the seed during the seed time, then maybe there is no much sweet in that fruit. Like in the yogurt, you say, today you're going to make the yogurt, and you put the sugar in the milk, and then tomorrow the yogurt has the sweetness. If within the sweetness, if you put, sugar cane or the candy or the white sugar, brown sugar, it's all manifest tomorrow. So there is a continuum. So I think the again and again says the very the important thing is to refuting the born from others. That furthermore, the none has a. So this the English is like explain the commentaries termination of its continuities. Furthermore, the non-disintegration of the seed is rejected as well. Non-disintegration of seed is rejected as well. Therefore, the phrase the cessation of the seed continuum here has to be understood in the term of cessation, its lineages, it's a lineage. So the continuum means the descendant, right? Descendant or the lineages. So continuum does not mean one single thing happening again and again. And because the two, the sprout and the seed, do not exist in identical, the sprout and seed is also not different, but not the identical, not essentially the one. And also because the seed did not transpose itself into the sprout. The disintegration of the seed, non-disintegration of the seed at the time of the sprout has been rejected. So it cannot be said that seed exists when the sprout is there. Hence, the extreme, the eternalism is prevented as well. These statements convey the intent of the following lines of the play in full sutras. So again, the same thing. The seed and the sprouts are not, when you say no different, so then maybe you will go back to, oh, maybe they are one. They are identical. Again, so they are not identical because they are in the two different times. Right? So not identical and not identical. So from the seed and sprout is not identical from that what you understand is not transposed and not transfer. You know. So in the sutras, the sutra says, if the seed exists, the sprout would be the same. So this little bit different when I reading in Tibetan and reading in English. So here in Tibetan, seven you know yugu chishin dance. Seven kanyi tini yugu means. If the seed exists, likewise the sprouts would be happening. Right? When there is a seed, there would be the seed. Right?
If there's a seed, there would be a sprout.
Yeah, there would be a sprout. So like when there is a seed, there would be a sprout. Right? So what is the seed? It is not the sprout. But so when you read the Tibetan, it says, seven is. So almost like likewise has to be first. Likewise, when there is a seed, there would be the sprout. And the very seed that is not identical with the sprout. The very seed is not a sprout. Sprout is not a seed. So, and also they are not different. So therefore, when the seed is the sprout will be the same. Yeah, when I read this English, sometimes I feel like it's not making sense. If the seed exists, the sprout will be the same. If the seed exists, if I say it like, likewise, if the seed exists, there would be this sprout. The very seed is not the sprout. So it is not the something other. So they are not others, they are not different, right? They are not identical, identical with it. Thus, it's neither eternal nor nihilist, kind of annihilated, right? Such is their truth. So the truth is, truth of the conditional phenomena, truth of the continuity is no eternal, no nihilistic. So the seed is not identical with the sprout. Sprout is not identical with seed. The reason, because they are called different name in the different time, So they are not identical. So one is the cause, one is the effect. And they are also not different. The sprout is the manifestations of the seed that has ceased to exist. So therefore, it is not different. So that is, the true nature of the conditional phenomena, free from two extreme eternalism and the nihilisms. I think this you can apply to anything that continuing. When you talk about the rebirths, and when you talk about the barley seed and sprouts, when talking about the Arya beings, the liberation and the second existence. So anything that is, yeah, the meaning of this line is as follow. Were the seed to exist, the sprout, which is caused by the seed, would come into being in the same manner as the seed. Now, when the sprout comes into being, it cannot, how's that? It cannot do so from something other than the seed. So one might think that the seed and the sprout are identical in nature. So once you negate the different of the seed and the sprout, you cannot go back to saying seed and sprout is identical. That is also negated. Seed and sprout is identical is negated, different is negated. And what you have established as is the continuum. Is the continuum is the the effect is the manifestation of the continuum of the seed. So this seed is no longer exist during the seed proves seed is impermanent. The manifestation of the sprout is the continuum of the seed, proving that is not not annihilated or discontinued. So when you this kind of idea, this kind of this nature, if you apply it to the time, probably then you can clearly understand there is no nothing this time traveling. So nothing travels through the time.
The next sentence seems quite difficult for me to understand. That this it is not that the seed comes to transpose itself.
Yeah.
To the sprout, but to speak of continuity, it does seem that there is some transformation into something that's not the same. But the lineage isn't destroyed. But there is.
Yeah, I think here. Yeah, let me say that seed does not transpose to the state of the sprout, because to manifest the sprout, seed has to cease to exist. So if it is designed to die before the sprout is manifest, how can it transpose? Right. So it is the nature of the seed has to die, when the sprout is manifest. So when he is certain to die during the, and before the manifestation of the sprout, how can it transpose? How can you go? So that nothing goes from the past to the present. The present comes from the past. But still it is the continuum, which means is the continuities. So I think this very strikes to us our habit of interpretations of the continuities. We always think continuity is one thing, that keep repeating is the continuities. So now this was saying the seed, anything that is seed, is never transposed to the state of its effect, because it is impermanent, it is disintegrating, and it has to be ceased to exist when the sprout is manifest. So therefore, nothing transposed, right? So, and then nothing transposed, does that mean this seed is ended when the seed is ceased to exist? Again, from the manifestation of the sprout says that seed hasn't ended yet. It is manifest once again. So I think this is why the maybe autonomous schools, minority schools, Sautrantic school, Vaivashika school, and those non-Buddhist schools, like many of the Hindu religiously thinking about, asserting about the atmas. So that whole ideas, the stands out from this idea of the cause and effect is different. That something transpose from the past to the present. That anything that is a present has once come from the past. So if the present is come from the past, therefore the present has the quality to continue to go to the future. Right. So which means 3 times the one thing keep repeating. So if the one thing, the time is changing, that thing is not changing. So that is the kind of idea, the eternalism. So something has the eternal quality, something is the permanent. So then the non-Buddhist school, this says that we want to call it the Atma. Atma, the very nature of the Atma is, in the Hindu, there's a Brahman. So because the very ultimate nature of the Atma is the Bhagavans. Sometimes people, you can say, it's the masterpiece of the Bhagavan. So the Atma, the self, is actually ultimately is the Bhagavan. Now this Bhagavan is stupid Bhagavan, is cycling in samsara. So now we have to find, to find a way to purify this Atma, to remind the Atmas, hey, you are Bhagavan, you are Bhagavans. Right? So, if the finally it becomes the Bhagavan, therefore, nature of this Atma is Bhagavan, then, you can say, the milk, the nature of the milk is the yogurt, right? So now it's not really conditioned, therefore it's not become the yogurt. So then is the nature of the earth, soil, everything, the soil that you can touch. So there are also, nature of the diamonds, jewels. So they all come from the earth. So the transpose, this is very, very, the unique thing in the Prasanga school in this is nothing transfer from the past to the present. But still we can, possess the understanding of the continuum. So nothing transfer from the past, nothing transpose from the past, but still continue means anything that happening in the present time, not exactly identical with the past,
but it is the manifestation of the past things has ceased to exist. So when you are, making a dough, making dough, you know, so if you put the butters and the sugars in the dough, so the manifestation of the dough is you can have, sweet bread. So if you put, um, salt and this some else, the manifestation of the dough is, sourdoughs, sour bread. So now say this sour bread is identical with that the dough. So then, which means the dough has to transpose. The dough has to go, transfer to the state of the bread. So if the dough is transfer, so why it has to be baked, and it takes hours and hours of changing. It keeps changing. So keep changing, and then at the end, many times changes. At the end, it becomes the bread. So what kind of the dough has transposed? What state of the time, right? What state of the dough has transposed? So there's precisely so nothing has transposed. Everything is changing, disintegrating, and then manifest some things. So whatever the manifest as a result is the continuum of the things that are in the process. So then that process has stopped. All the process that ceased to exist, and then this, what the manifestation of the result of that process is, continuum of that thing. So I think even the minority school and middle autonomous school, they also have they're always kind of in that they are still attached. There must be something goes from the past to the present. And which one is going? The body is not going. The body is turning to ashes. The body, oh, the sixth consciousness, the mental consciousness going. And again, the middle orthodox school says, oh, sixth consciousness, there's many, the level of the sixth consciousness that is, uh, follows the sensory perceptions, the imagination of the smell, the sound, the taste. These are not continuing. So the mental the what called uh, illustrations of this I, which is the continuity of the consciousness. Right. So they're trying to make it up because they also believe there is something going from the past to the present. So they try to bring, this sixth mental consciousness, which is illustration of I, that is the continuing, going from the past to the present. And the Sautrantika school and Vivashika school, they also think, so there's a, uh, this is this, the the mental consciousness. And minority school who believes in the mind-based all says, oh, there is the seventh consciousness, which is the mind-based all, that carries all the seed of the consciousness. That consciousness, going from the past to the present. So I think all these, they kind of, they are philosophically, whatever they have, the constitute, is all helping or supporting to the born from others. There's otherness. So I think, it's continuously pondering, if keep thinking about it, then it, for sure it makes sense to you. But right now there's a kind of, one side of your mind protesting, one side is ready to accept it, it's kind of exciting, interesting. And so you have two parties going on at the same time. So I think this is very much, born from others is very much accepted and agree commonly Buddhist and non-Buddhist schools. And also, I think, in the scientific thinkings, maybe they have some kind of idea of the times are different past and the present are different. Present is different from the past. Future is different from the present. So something that is a remain, something that remain, that can be in the past, that can be in the present, that can be in the futures, something that has the quality to remain through the three times. So I think that also kind of very much is laying the foundation to create more misinterpretations, to cause more misinterpretations. So I think that's what Bill thinks, So you can go back to the past, and you can also, someone can come back from the future to the present. All the shows notice several times he come back from the future to the present. A Terminator. So he's coming back from the future to present. When this the scientists, the group of scientists, they find something new, knowledge, new ideas. So those movie directors, they come to listen. Or they thought, oh, this is really interesting. So we can make a movie out of it. So this, also helps you to understand, no otherness. Help you understand about impermanence. So the very, I think, deeper meaning of impermanence. When about this, I think I've just finished this. Country from the something other than the seed. So one might think that the seed and sprout are identical in the nature. The sutra states that although the sprout does not come into being from something different from the seed, so although the sprout does not come into being from something that different from the seed, it is not that the seed comes to transpose itself onto the sprout. Why? Because the sprout is neither intrinsically other from the seed, nor is it
intrinsically identical with it in natures. It's not identical. It's not identical and not the other. And how can that be possible? So he then says, like you say, fire and fuels, they are not identical, they are not different. And me and my hand, me and my body, me and my thought, me and my emotions, they are also not identical because I don't say my emotion is me. So my emotions. The emotional is not identical with me. I'm not the emotional, but I'm not different from the emotionals. So if I have the emotional and I am different from the emotional, then I have to be like, different like car and car's owner, right? House and house owner. So the apart from the house owner can leave his house or sell it out. He can go. So is that possible? The person and his emotions, you know, there's you can separate them. So there is no person can independently separate from the emotional. There's a conceptually distincted the separate entity, a self being separate from the emotional. So not the identical, not the different, but still there is the continuum. When both these possibilities are rejected, the true nature of the sprout is revealed. So this true nature of the sprout is revealed to be a reality that is the free from extreme of eternalism and nihilisms. The same sutras that stated this point in the following says there's a volition, right?
Yes.
The volitions are the conditioned by ignorance. The actions are conditioned by the ignorance. Such volitions do not exist in the ultimate reality. Both volitions and ignorance are empty, for their lack intrinsically real movement. For they lack intrinsically real movement. So in the sutra, actions are conditioned by the ignorance, that the actions are, so during actions are conditioned by ignorance. The ignorance who conditioned the actions is not there at the time of the actions, right? So, duje mari dinye tongpa des, they are kind of, so the actions, uh, action and ignorance are not identical and they are not different. They're intrinsically they're empty of, the different and the identical. Talk about this. So anything that is moving, anything that has activities, all which means it lacks the intrinsic nature. So anything that is moving has a kind of movement or any activities. So activity means dependently, relatively. Without dependent relative, there is no activities. When activity is happening because of the relativities or because of the dependent, therefore activities means no intrinsic nature. Yeah, I think this is very, very, yeah, I think this is very useful and very helpful for myself. Yeah. Because all these non-Buddhist schools, so Vibhashika school, Sotatic school, Mayanola school, so medieval autonomous school, there's a the arguments, just argument, continuous argument. They find there's something they can dispute, you know, uh, on this intrinsic nature, you know. So they continuously, are bringing the argument towards the Prasangic school, because what makes them, uh, you know, find there's something to argue with Prasangic school, because they could not really stand no otherness of the cause and effect. So this is very, very obvious, and without this, and there is no continuum, there is nothing you can talk about law in the cause and effect. There's nothing you can say, this is the result of that things. So if the cause and effect is not the others, when there's no otherness between cause and effect, and that whole language has stops, the collapse. So that continuously, argue with Prasangic school. So which means that their whole the concept, the uh, which means from the Prasangic school's point of view, from the Prasangic school point of view, so they are totally, falling into eternalism, eternalisms. So because the exaggerations is, they don't see this is the misunderstanding. So so the cause and effect as a different is the big exaggerations. So today is different from yesterday. Tomato is sprout is different from the seed. A present is different from past. Is this is the big exaggerations. Because of that, so if today is different from yesterday, sprout is different from the cause, the present is different from the past. But there are different. Different is solidly established. Now there's another the idea, the concept that we always been using. The present is coming from the past. Oh, this is this sprout is arising from that seed. So there's something coming. They are different, and something coming. While they are different, this is coming from that. So if you are different from that house, you are coming from that house means you can go back to the house, you can come back from the house. So almost like you're going to the airport and coming back from the airport. So it's kind of it's clear, independent, two separate phenomena. So then, if you are really if you cling on that, the cause and effects, the two independent, two different phenomena. So there is, you cannot argue, you cannot argue with non-Buddhist school saying, the effect is not pre-exist within the cause. Because the whole medieval autonomous Prasangic schools against non-Buddhist schools thinking that the every effect is pre-exist within the cause. They're against that. How can you against with that? How can you disapprove that? Because you believe this very thing in the present is physically coming from there. It is not there. How can it come from there? So that you are pretty much similar in the non-Buddhist schools. So who believes every effect once pre-exists within its cause. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, if you really if you really call on this, the different otherness, the cause and effect, probably you have not much, any valid reason to how to say, to argue with non-Buddhist school. The only thing that you can do is physically fight. So throw cup and plates. You shut up. You shut up. So every present you see, the past and the present is the two different things, two independently different. Now, any present is coming from the past. So the two different things coming from the past means this once exists there. Without the present, sprout having exists in the seed, how can it come from it? So this is why Chandrakirti is Chandrakirti in the Buddha Palitas. They always claim that the two great masters, particularly Chandrakirti, many times mentioned that he explicitly mentioned in the commentary that I have understood what the Nagarjuna meant. So if I was asked that these great masters did, they don't understand on that, and I would clearly say yes, they don't really understand the dependent rising and the settled way. So Chandrakirti was quite confident, So in Baba, it's like Dharmakirti in the what's the Chola and Sanskrit name? I forgot. If someone asks, these two master has not revealed the emptiness, and I will say yes, definitely. Dinaka, yeah. So he is also including the Baba Vivek, the great master of the medieval school, because they all, the assert the proponents of the otherness of the cause and effect. Yeah. Any other questions? No questions?
I thank you for being such an excellent teacher. This is not a piece of cake to really deeply understand or accept. So I think if you were not so careful really explaining this and so patient, I think we would not understand, have not much chance to understand.
Yeah, I think because of the patience, because of the enthusiasm, because of the, listeners, their energies, the, intentions, that, that grows the sprout of my my interpretations. Chanju semjo rinpoche ma gepa na geju gepa nyamba meba nyo kone kondo tonye dawa rinpoche ma gepa na geju gepa nyamba meba nyo kone kondo pama simjen tamje dedan tenju ngendo tamje tato tonwa chanju semba kama sushu be tada kunje monom jumju kare rabe gobe shimanzo kanda dewa ma dun chuwe ne
May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May the precious mind, realizing emptiness, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. Due to all these merits, may all father and mother sentient beings have all the happiness, and may all the lower realms be empty forever. Wherever there are bodhisattvas, may all their prayers be accomplished immediately. In the sacred land surrounded by snow mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. O powerful Chandrakirti Tenzin Gyatso, remain in this world until samsara ends.
Thank you very much. Thank you.